it happened, and then they wrote about it a little later. My dad didn't have. Did he have a boat? When did he get the boat?
Yes. Well, he had a couple, but
Okay, so what happened was he didn't have boats for a while, but he was allowed to use some of the clients' boats sometimes, like Uncle Marshall's boat, and
I only remember him using his boat.
He went a couple times.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was those times. I'm trying to figure out when we were on his boat.
His boat. He had a boat for a long time when you were fairly young.
Okay.
For probably 4 or 5 years, and gave it up for a couple of years, and then had another boat. What was that
Quick
called?
Decision.
The Quick Decision, yeah. So you're an idiot, Savant.
I am.
So
then we would, when we went
the first one, I don't know
deep
what
sea
that
fishing
one was,
with him.
It was cute. Yeah.
We'd go deep sea fishing, and
it could shit in a bucket. This was great.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot to it. It was just
it was a
fish
boat.
And so when he planned it, we'd have to get up at, I don't even know, like 4 a.m.
So it was like an hour to get out because he was up the Miami River, and you could only go idle speed the whole Miami River because of no reason at all.
So he'd load Coca-Colas on. He'd load. My mom would make, or he'd make bologna sandwiches, and then she wouldn't go though. Did she go?
She went.
Okay.
Yeah.
So family ordeal, we'd all get on. And for a while there was a chunk of time where every time we'd head out and we get to just about where the inlet would be, like where it goes out to the bay.
Yeah. So yeah.
It'd be right before that bridge. I just remember.
Yeah, it was. There was a section just before downtown.
Yeah.
Got a little seedier.
Yep.
Off of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And never fails. It would be Dan or it would be you or what's that? What's that? And my dad would be like, here we go.
So the first time I remember, Mom was on the boat and she was like, they knew exactly what it was. And they're like, oh my God, look, like wildebeest over there. So everybody go to that side.
Monkeys.
Go to the opposite side.
And so we'd go over there and they would.
He pulled it in. He pulled in, report, and we drove it. I think it was Dawson's. I don't know if that's still there. And I'm going to say it because I don't.
Yeah, it was Dawson's.
There's still a family there. But so it reported.
And what we're talking about, it is a dead body. It's a dead body.
It's a floater. And but our whole trip got messed up because we were there for hours.
We'd have to wait for the cops, and then the cops were on your markets at Mosey back then because
it's dead already.
And my dad, if you didn't get out by like 9 a.m., it wasn't worth it. It was too hot.
Yeah.
It would take too long to get out there. So he'd just call it and we'd turn around, we'd eat the bologna sandwiches, have a Coca-Cola on the water and come back in.
But then he just stopped. Oh, I don't see it.
I just remember him telling us, sitting us down and going, anybody sees anything that they can't figure out what it is, do not point it out to anybody.
Show me.
Keep it to yourself. We're going fishing today. And so that's how it was from that point forward.
Oh my God. No, it's crazy.
I'm not talking once that we found a floater. A handful of times.
Well, I mean, the thing is that so we had coconut trees.
Yes.
So sometimes it's going to be a coconut.
Sometimes. Not those times. Not those times. Also,
it was the heyday of the drugs.
So saying that also was something that was interesting, and I don't know if I know all of the facts.
Childhood.
But, at what we call the yacht basin, which was Hardy's Yacht Basin or Marina. Hardy's Yacht Basin.
It was Yacht Basin.
Yacht Basin. It was a wet dock marina. It had 4 docks. Mm-hmm. It was one attached to then 1, 2, 3.
Side, yeah.
So 4 docks, wet docks, and then on the other side,
super cute.
It had these long, what would you call it?
Long what?
On the other side, where in between the tow tugboats, and yacht basin, there was like a long docking area.
You mean the other?
The other side where
Yeah, so it was like a little, just an inlet with one bigger boats.
a bay. It was
Yeah.
kind of like it was like a bay of like where you could park multiple boats or one big boat.
And another work area.
Off the front, off the Miami River side of the yacht basin, that dock, there wasn't much room because they'd bring these huge, massive cargo ships down the river, which was amazing. I'm so glad I got to see that because, I mean, these huge boats, I mean, cargo.
Yeah.
They would be, because the boat would go like this down on the bottom, and it would only be on this part. And you'd be like, how is it even floating? But they would, and there was a turn right there. So watching the tugboats dip underwater to get a hold of these boats and pull them in was amazing.
Yeah.
But so you couldn't really park much out front.
No.
And
I've actually been like they had me scraping the piling or whatever, and I'd be on one of those little floating docks, you know, the little tiny barge, the little 10 by 10 barge that Dad had made or whatever.
Now what they call a floating dock.
And so one time I was on that doing something on the painting the piling, and I got away, and one of the boats came, and I was so far, I was down to the next bridge. Oh. And we had one oar, but it was a square barge, tide coming in. It was like an hour to get back.
Dan and I got the same thing. Dan and I.
Nobody came to check where I was.
You've got this huge ship going by you, and you're on this, you look like a cracker.
Yeah.
And you're waving up to the cargo workers, and you're praying for your life.
There'd be 10,000 bicycles on that thing.
Oh my gosh, every bicycle that was stolen in all of Miami.
Yeah.
But anyway, so somehow Dad got the contract to store drug boats.
Yeah, a couple good years.
It was a few. It was a few of my, I guess middle school, high school years. And so what would happen was my dad they would store these boats, like the FBI or whoever would bring the boats in after they were raided.
Yeah.
They'd tow them in, and my dad would store them for them. As well, my dad was also a consultant because he knew boats so well. They'd ask him, they'd be like, could you walk us through and make sure that there's no hidden compartments or anything that doesn't look right to you that may have drugs hidden in it? And I remember going along with him. I don't know if you ever did.
I did not, no.
I did. So we're following behind all these people in suits. And it would be me and my brother. And my dad, super cool, like Fonzie type. And he'd be walking and be like, yeah, no, everything looks good. And in those boats, it was like because he did this one thing.
But I'm
he'd be like this.
With the cracker shirt.
He'd be like, he'd like tap on the wall and he'd be like, yeah, no. He'd walk a little further, he'd be like, he'd go over and stomp a little area. And then all these guys are like, look at him, like, oh, we got to do that next time. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got to look here next time. Because they all wanted to be the best guy at it.
Yeah, you find a bunch of it.
And the scenario of inside these boats, they're huge, like anything from like a banana boat all the way to these huge cargo boats.
They were huge, yeah.
And it was left the same way as when they were raided. So if there was food they were eating, the food was there.
It was rotted.
And like underwear on the floor, anything and everything. And so they would go through and my dad would be like, yeah, no, it's clean. You found what you found. And there'd be remnants of like cocaine on the table sometimes and stuff like that.
Pot all over
Pot
the place.
Everywhere. But that they didn't clean that up. Cocaine, it would just be there. Tables. And then all of a sudden they would leave and my dad would see them off. And then he'd be like, kids. And we'd know what that meant. And so we'd follow behind and cool as can be, he'd walk in, hit something, stomp something, a panel would come down and there would be kilos or I shouldn't say kilos, I don't really know what a kilo is. It would be freezer Ziploc bags of cocaine or pot. And we'd have it and nobody even cared. It wasn't like cleanly. No. So we're like, walking out with, Ziplocs of Coke to the front of the yacht basin and pouring them in the river. And
Manatees loved the river.
I always wondered why we had so
We didn't
many
think about it.
manatees and fish and stuff like that.
Everything got poured in the river because I think he
Poop
always
was
worried that the cops were dirty.
At that time, the cops were dirty because there was a big deal about if you ever saw an abandoned car, you never just left it to the cops. You would stand there with the cops until they recorded what the stuff was. Like, you didn't just go, okay, you got it, we'll leave now. Because what was in the trunk would be drugs, and then they would go and sell them. And
I don't know that. I don't know that for a fact, but I do understand his.
It was the time.
It was difficult times, but so he would pay me to clean the boats. I don't know. Did you ever have to do that?
I had to.
Which was gross because it smelled bad. It was hot. It smelled really bad because all the food would just like go bad.
I just remember seeing raviolis everywhere.
Everywhere, and just, I mean, I was in high school. I knew what the drugs were, but we were not tempted. Everything went in the river. You just sweep everything right into the river, But then I think about it now and I go, God, that might have been really.
Dad could have been so wealthy.
But no, it could have been such a bad thing. Bad thing for the animals in the river. I don't know.
I guess it dissipated. I mean, you know how much poop was in the Miami River?
Yes, I do.
So much poop. People bilge pumped. We bilge pumped.
Everybody.
That was our job.
Yeah.
Our job in the summer was to go down, and there'd be certain people that would dock their boats there, and they were snowbirds. And so during the summer, they'd need their, everything like kind of turned on and, run. And we were paid to bilge pump. So it would be sweltering, the hottest of the hot of Miami. You would actually inhale, run down to where the bilge pump, and then run back up because you couldn't breathe. It was so stagnant in those because it's not like you'd open them up because there's too many to open. And
they've got laws about child labor now. They probably did that too. But.
Not to mention, we would seal the teak on boats in the middle of summer. You know how hot it is to seal the teak on a boat in the middle of summer in Miami?
The instructions probably say not to get over a certain level either, but it never did. But.
And then you guys did.
I love cleaning the boats. I love cleaning the boats.
The roof or something? Or?
I used to have to paint. We had to paint I don't know if it was paint or paint, I guess. Paint the roof. And I almost passed out one time. Yeah. But I jumped in the river and cooled down, and that was a mistake.
Which brings us to another story.
Mistake.
When we jump in the river, you just go, Dad, which side is the alligator on?
Yeah, because there's alligators. That's what I'm saying. That's probably so. Like, aren't there stories about like cocaine sharks now?
Oh yeah, there is.
There's like the shark, and I'm like, can you imagine the alligators at the basin?
Cocaine alligators.
There were cocaine
turtles,
alligators.
Cocaine.
We never had a problem with it. We never
cocaine manatee.
Never had an aggressive alligator ever in my life. I've never had an alligator chase me or anything.
We would swim one dock away from the alligators.
Yeah,
we'd be like, "Where's the alligator today?" And my dad would be like, "Oh, it's on dock 2." We'd be swimming on dock 1.
Yeah,
there's not.
As long as you knew where they were. As long as you knew where they were.
Yeah.
Not that there couldn't have been 3 that day.
Yeah, not like there was only one. It was just.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're swimming in poop water that he tells you don't open your eyes and don't open your mouth. What do you do the first time you jump in?
Open your eyes, open your mouth.
I opened your eyes. I didn't open my mouth.
Yeah, I opened that's what I'm saying. When I was that one time when I was on the roof, I'm like, I was so hot. I was just like, I'm going to die. And I literally came down. How do I get down? Down the ladder, run right off and jumped into the river. Don't care where the alligators are. And I opened my eyes because I was just so hot. And I was like, oh, never open your eyes.
Everywhere.
It's gross.
Not to mention, if you dove, you had to know how to dive into the Miami River, and it was always fun to the newbies
don't put your feet down.
You cannonball.
You cannonball.
You go down and then you lift your legs because your foot will go down in 2 to 3 feet of poop.
Yeah.
And
that's what it is here too, though. We've got muck.
You've got muck. It's a whole lot different than poop.
There's no poop. It's muck. But we got muck here. And the first time, one of the kids ran and jumped and went all the way down, which is scary because
if you know muck or poop, it suctions to your foot.
It's hard to get out.
So you go in easily.
I was like,
you go in like you're like a
because
slipper.
I'm the one sitting there going, he can go. And of course, run and jump. You think everybody knows cannonball. Don't ever jump. You cannonball into water you don't know about. But he did not. So
And
it
it
was
kind
a
of-
mess.
You can't get your foot out. For some reason, it's like suction.
He had muck to here.
Oh, ugh. It is a nasty, nasty
Yeah.
feeling.
That's
But
right.
it's fun.
Muck is fine. It's clean. Yeah.
Oh, and then there was the Lomax. The Lomax in Dad's yacht basin was another drug boat. And I think I was in high school at this point, like ninth grade maybe. And we had two friends. And the friend had a daughter that was my age and a son that was my brother's age. And so we were on the drug boats, which was always fun we'd find little fosforos, little Diablo matches. And the striking thing was sugar. So it was neat. It was all whatever you could find was yours.
Yeah.
And so we'd go down and it was spooky as get out because you have no clue if somebody's in there. Like, did they hide themselves as well as the drugs hid? They hid the drugs. It's just spooky. Did they come back for their stuff?
Well, it depended on the
You never
ship
knew.
because some of the ships were really big.
Yes.
And had a lot of little crevices.
Yes.
And other boats were.
So we were, creeping around in there, and the boys were up in the front. We were towards the back, and my dad was in the office in the yacht basin when we started. And then he thought it would be fun to scare us.
Yeah, why not?
So he threw an empty oil can down the engine room, which I don't know if you ever heard that. It is a sound that is loud, clanking, and echoes on the inside. And I've never run so fast in all of my life, nor has the girl I was with. She was more of a flailing, yelling, screaming run. I was more of a running, scream at the top of your lungs for your father kind of yell. Meanwhile, we ran off the boat. You had to jump a little bit, got off the boat. My dad was there crying, laughing. And then we had to go rescue my brother and his friend.
It was a slow day.
Because I can't remember who it was, whether it was my brother or his friend, but there was a metal V and one of them got their head stuck in it. And it was very easy to get the head out, but in a fit of scared out of your wits, he just kept moving the wrong way and couldn't get out. So needless to say, my dad was bent over laughing, crying, laughing.
Good day.
It was a great day for my father.
Good day at the basin. Good day at the basin.
And it was, a good workout for.
And for all your troubles, you got a cheeseburger and French fries and a Coca-Cola.
I think we just got Coca-Cola.
Just Coca-Cola, okay.
Out of the Coke machine.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But he got a good laugh out of it. And it was a fun day.
I mean, if you had friends over, they were prime. That day was
almost
happening.
as if there should have been a waiver. There should have been a waiver.
I don't know why people allowed children at the Hardy house anyway.
And another thing is I remember hearing his friend's bitch ass scream. It was the highest scream I've ever heard. But boys go high when they get scared. And it was a bitch scream. But it was probably my introduction to bitch scream. But it was a fantastic day. And my dad got a kick out of it.
Where's the video on that? Where's the video on that? That would have been great. See, this is what we need time travel for.
Yes.
Because you could tell me the day and I'd be like, I'd go set that up.
Oh.
I'd be right now showing that video of that.
I'm sure I did laps around that.
That kid pooping his pants.
Oh, there had to be a wet. There was a nugget.
Nice stain.
There was either a nugget or a wet.
Nice stain there.
I know I ran around in circles. I know the girl I was with ran around in circles until you figured out you should jump off the boat. It was
not an easy task.
No.
Never an easy task.
Especially not when you're
scared. Yeah. He never did that to me.
There was no option. I'm sure of it. I'm sure if he could. I mean, this is the same man that he super glued a penny to the front walk of the yacht basin so people would bend over and try to pick it up.
I thought about doing that.
Funny.
That would be fun. I wanted to do it at the high school. a 50-cent piece or
I
something.
don't think they know.
Kids would.
I know.
Kids would not stop to pick that up.
My daughter tried to pay with one of 50-cent pieces way back years ago. And the girl at Target said it was fake money.
Oh,
She
God.
didn't know that's what it was. Anyway, I think we've talked too long.
No,
I think you're going to have some editing time.
might be too. All right.
I've got a cold or something's going on. It's all that talk of cocaine.
It's the yellow stuff.
Oh my gosh, we are completely yellow here.
It's all
everything is yellow.
Trees. Oh, the oak.
Cars, everything. Just
all right. So like, subscribe,
with your alert. Tell your friends.
Comment.
Where
are we? Who are we?
Who are we?
Who are we?
Do you know us?
Do you know? Wait, what's our name?
Have we embarrassed you?
Wait, what's our name?
Have you been part of our thing and we didn't say hello?
What's
Michelle?
our name?
No, Mr. Sisters.
Yeah, you got to write this down.
2 points for me. I get a new drink. Yay!
I know it just hit me.
In our
we were trying what was your drink?
Stannis.
What are you calling this
Stannis.
today? What are you calling it today? What's our drink? Did you name it?
Gin and Fun. I don't know.
A fun gin?
Fun gin. It sounds like a BTS member.
Little fun gin, right? Running right across. What is that like? Is that like an animal or is it a cloud or a fun gin? A big bubble.
It's a mascot.
No, it was a good drink. Actually, it was good. It tasted like it did taste like a, you know how when you go to Epcot and you get the like flower stuff? That's what it tasted like.
Hibiscus kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what it tasted like.
It needs something. It needs lime.
It tasted a little healthy for me.
It does sound, yeah. It needs lime. Everything needs lime.
I know. I didn't buy lime.
I forgot to buy lime.
Remember that?
Yeah, what did we say?
We gave him a hard time because we told him that he said that our podcast is about nothing.
Yeah, so hashtag Dale. Whenever you get a chance. Hashtag Dale. Because you know what day's coming. I said it.
I'm so excited.
It's our favorite time of year.
So excited. The second one tells a friend of hers who's not like a long-term friend. Long-term friend. So I can't do anything on that day.
Big deal.
It's a big holiday for us. And the friend went, what?
Yeah, we need to take that day off of school.
New victims.
New victims.
Yay! All right.
So excited. We'll tell you after the escapades. But we plan it a year in advance. Especially this one. Dale. We're coming for you.
You'll never know.
Is it?
I like that. Maybe the family will like us now.